Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Family Podcast with your two favorite brothers. My name is Sammy,
My name is Don.
and today we're talking about 10 things your dad should have told you. Run the intro. So, we're both growing up. We've had some of the wisdom from our daddy,
Yep.
and we're thinking about the next stage of our lives. For me, it's a bit more immediate. So, I wanted to have a conversation about things that you feel like, or we both feel like, we should be teaching to our children.
Okay.
Yeah.
To my unborn child.
Yeah, don't sing too much. I don't want no copyrights.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So,
Was it 5 seconds or something?
yeah, I think so. So, okay. So I'll go first,
Yeah.
and then you can go after, yeah?
Sure.
So, my first one is how to speak in public.
Ooh. Okay.
Jeez, man's on fire. We only just started. So, I think it's an underdeveloped tool. And you can assert a lot of power and knowledge if you understand how to communicate.
Yeah.
One of the things that was really interesting to me when I first started podcasting, and to some extent now because I'm still working on it, is the ability to turn your idea into coherent speech.
Yeah.
It's actually a lot more difficult to do than we realize.
I think I've got worse at it.
Is it?
Yes.
As a podcaster? Chale?
The problem is, yeah, I live with a younger person. So I pick up young people's slang and speak like a younger person. You know, so it makes me some identifiable in some situations. But as you can imagine, if I was living with somebody who spoke the Queen's English, my vocabulary would change.
Expansion.
Yeah. So I'm well aware that I speak younger, and for all intents and purposes, and some people say this, well, a lot of people have said this, I look younger than I actually am. So between the speech and the looking, it's a complete facade, baby. So I'm aware of those things.
Yeah, so I also think it's easier to make acquaintances because you're less shy of talking. And when you're young, you don't have the fear a lot of the time. You'll just go up to somebody that you don't know and just start chatting.
Yeah.
Even to the point of danger where your parents might have to come and withdraw you from the situation because you don't understand that this person could reject you. This person may completely denigrate you, or they could do something of severe harm to you.
Yeah.
And so once you get older, you learn all of those things, and it makes you wary of people. Look how many memes there are of, oh, if I could just escape the world and go to a desert island, and this, that. Lots of memes are about getting away from people because we recognize the danger in other people, and we should be aware of that. But at the same time, we should also offer ourselves up for experiences of friendship and community and environments that are able to connect us with other people. And I feel like giving your young people the chance to develop that, or the opportunity to develop that, is better for their development, and also opens them up to new environments.
Cool.
Yes.
We're going to do 1-1.
Yes.
Okay, mine would be, I'm sorry, 'cause I already pre-read it from your list, so I know you're going to say this, but I had it before I knew you were going to say it. Financial literacy. I think it's such a massive part, of being successful, that we can't afford to negate it. You can be on a wage of 50k, but if you can manage 50k, you're gonna be calm. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you can manage 30k, you're gonna be calm. There's no instance where managing your money causes an issue. But it's something that we're very rarely taught. You know, we're not taught about saving bonds. We're not taught about ISAs properly. We're not taught about APRs. We're not taught about mortgages and investments. You know, there's just so much that's missing, and I hope that when I get to the age where I have children, you know, that I will be able to impart that on them, you know, to give them the skills to be able to save and know what to spend on. Then also just teaching them that, okay, if you're going to buy something designer, then you're going to have to look after it, because you can, especially in now this day and age, you can resell it, you know, and how things become vintage and antique, and, you know, how to spot out things that are going to have, you know, financial value later in the future. I think all these things are important, isn't it? So
yeah, I often think that we're taught to acquire money more than we are taught how to manage money. And that creates a mindset of accumulating more. But what do we know about human beings? When you accumulate more, you spend more.
yeah,
And so learning how to manage what you have is actually a secret weapon,
yeah,
because it means that you understand the resources that you have. Like you said, you can allocate it in different places. You might save some of it. You might invest some of it. You might help out a friend. But it's not a case of helping out a friend and ruining your own financial stability.
yeah,
And having that ability to say no because I'm in this financial position is something that we should be teaching our kids. And the idea that if somebody's asking you to do something that is going to make you more vulnerable financially, that is not something you should be participating in. And also this idea of cutting your coat to your size, because a lot of the narrative has been, no, you have to think you're rich. You have to convince other people you're rich. And because of that, there is this mass drive for consumption all the time. Our young kids are going to grow up in an era where social media is overrun with ads. Now, we grew up in a time where it wasn't so severe. There was a time on Instagram where there were no ads. There was time on Twitter.
Instagram,
Yeah, Twitter had no ads.
Do you remember YouTube with no ads?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Insane.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
And so our children are not going to get the benefit of that. They're going to be bombarded with ads all the time.
Yeah.
And this expectation that they must look this way, they must dress this way, they must do this, they must do that. And all of it feeds financial ruin, in a sense. You got people taking out loans on big body foreigns and literally eating noodles because the car payments are so significant.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? It's different if you want to spend your money on that. And you have the money to spend, go ahead. But this whole fronting thing, going on holidays month after month after month, and you know you don't have money at home.
Yeah.
What's the... I understand the image and the want to have the image, but make it sustainable.
But I think also, to be fair to some of those people, some of them like feel that they work so hard, then they still can't breathe. Does that make sense? So I get it, but there are a lot of people who do the image thing. You know, we can't negate that. I think a high population of people do this image thing. And I've been guilty of it myself, so I'm not really someone who's kind of sitting here to judge. You know, I would know that I could put money in savings, and then instead I'll go buy some clothes or something. Could be like, this is great. And you have the clothes for a couple of weeks, you wear it out a couple of places, and you're just like, oh, okay, well, what now? Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I do want to highlight that some people, especially with the holiday thing, it may be like escapism.
I understand that. Life is difficult.
Yeah.
So,
but still,
having those things that alleviate pressure.
Yeah, but it's not. It's important to preach that doesn't alleviate your pressure, because you come back and you've now got a bigger debt than you had previously. Yeah, so.
And part of it, like I say, is cutting your coat according to your size. So, somebody who says, "I'm feeling the pressure," and then goes to Mexico where the tickets are over $1,000. That's probably not the best thing to do. But you might be able to say, I'm feeling the pressure. I'm going to go to a hotel, maybe outside London, Ashford or somewhere like that, just to get away and decompress. And then, but that is going to save you so much more money.
Yeah.
Even if you stay for just one weekend, it's a weekend to decompress, you know. Or if you want to stay, if you've only got the money to stay for a day, then go stay for a day.
Okay, yeah.
But work with, this is the thing, what we were saying, it's about money management. And so that is definitely something that we should be teaching our kids, definitely. My second one would be to play a sport.
Okay, yeah.
This is mainly geared towards male children, because male children tend to have a proclivity to want to put themselves in sporting situations.
Okay.
But I think that women in sports should not be neglected either. So if your child shows a propensity for a particular sport and she's a girl, then maybe it's better as a parent to explore that. I'm not going to tell other parents how to parent their children.
Yeah.
However, if they have a proclivity towards that, then that's something you should explore.
Yeah.
But sports teach you things that it's really hard to get outside of those environments, especially when you're young.
Yeah.
How do you win with grace?
Yeah.
How do you take a loss? Those two things set you up for life. Because people who are totally crumbled by their failures, they find it really hard to progress.
Yeah. And that makes sense.
And those people who constantly shove their wins in people's faces, they're insufferable. That's the reason Ghost got shot.
Yeah, very
I can't lose. Okay, you're going to lose your life then.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, so those people are insufferable to be around. And what you have to understand about life is it's not a solo game. Everybody thinks it's a solo game because they're experiencing life by themselves. And yes, you should build up character traits of independence.
Yeah.
However, you need to utilize all the players that you come across.
No, definitely.
And so sports gives you an inkling of that, especially if you do a team sport like football. You learn how to use people towards their thing. And it can develop leadership skills. There are some, and then you get judged by somebody who's not your dad.
Yeah.
I mentioned this before in the episode with Ash.
Yeah.
Go watch that. But it's important that you take yourself out of your family dynamic and you're judged harshly by another person who's competent. Who doesn't baby you, but if you go under their tutelage, it will lead to some form of growth. Yeah. That's really important for kids. Really, really important. Some find it in teachers, but a lot of male children find that through their coaches. Yeah.
Cleanliness. Yeah, that one is a big one. You know, like there's so much to do when we talk about cleanliness. Yeah, how you got the normal routine, hoovering, the washing of the dishes. You got your own showers, making sure you brush your teeth. You know, mouthwash. If you're someone who uses an irrigator, you got that. Flossing, also very important for your teeth. You know, then you've got like, there's the vacuuming, and then there's like the vacuuming with the powder and that to refresh the carpets or the foam. You know, like yeah. You got that. So I think there's a lot of elements. There's making your home smell nice. There's stuff that you do for your home. There's stuff that you're making yourself smell nice. And I think all of these things are highly, highly important. Like it even depends who you attract. Like everybody knows, like from school days, if you used to teeth a dad spray or whatever, you know the reception you got when you came in smelling like Hugo Boss or something like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Compared to if you came in smelling like Lynx. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Lynx Africa.
Yeah, Lynx Africa was the vibe for the sports, yeah. But when you came in on something different, and if you did it on a regular basis, you became known for that because it wasn't the norm. Yeah. And I think there's something to that, you know, in terms of smelling nice, looking good, making sure, you know, everything's all blessed, innit? So I think that's important, and I think that plays into other areas like healthcare. Yeah. So I think, you know, to be cleanly and to be hygienic, it changes the landscape of your life. You begin to look at things in a different way. Do you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I kind of wish that I did have that element when I was growing up. So it's definitely something that I'll teach in it. So for example, I got really bad teeth in it. Always have done, ate loads of sweets when I was really young, yada yada yada. And I feel like a lot of this could have been prevented if the proper conversation was had. Do you get what I'm saying? But I get it, like being a parent, you can't tell your child everything. Like your child's gonna have to experience life in it. So
yeah,
I'm not saying that it's for all people, but if you're saying what would I want to teach, that would be one of the things, in it. Good teeth, good smile can go a long way in it. Like even into like the job that you do, like people cast you because you look good. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think we should never underestimate that.
Yeah, and also from a beginning level, you see how teachers judge kids who come in untidy.
Yeah. And
you can create a great positive environment or first impression by the way that your conduct is and the way that you dress your children. And if they embody that, they always look proper, the teachers are going to be way more receptive to them, and they're going to assume, because this is what teachers do, that they come from a good home with good background and maybe more invested in teaching those type of children than children who come in and their ties around their head. So
that Rambo flex there.
Yeah, trust me.
No, but it's true.
Yeah, that was a good one. So I think it's my third one.
Yeah.
So the third one would be attributes of a good friend group.
Okay.
Because I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm going to keep a close eye on who my daughter and who my son's friends are. Because so much of a person's potential can be robbed by their friend group if their friend group is negative.
Got it.
It's one of the reasons why a lot of upper middle class people work extremely hard to send their children to certain schools. It's not necessarily because of their educational quality, although it might be. Part of it is also because they understand that they're going to be around a particular group of people. And those people may not necessarily be the most scrupulous people.
Yeah.
However, they may have ties into certain families, or they may be extremely ambitious, things like that. Now, I think that the actual qualities of a person is really the most important. What is the point being friends with somebody whose dad's a lord and has got a load of money if in the end they're going to backstab you and steal all of your money?
Yeah.
So it's better to conduct yourself with honorable people. You shouldn't be naive in the way that you conduct yourself. But you should also have a friendship group that
holds you accountable.
Yeah, that holds you accountable. And not only holds you accountable, but those people are the embodiment of the person that you are actually trying to be and trying to grow into as well. And I think it's very hard for young men to find those type of groups. They're very difficult indeed. Everybody just wants to do the bare minimum. So if you can find men, and for the young ladies, if you can find women who are ambitious and focused on their self-development and their growth, you need to foster those relationships. Faith is 4 years old. I've told her, your friends should be in a pact. You and your friends should have a pact to greatness. Yeah, when you're older, if one of you needs a place to stay, you other ones should find ways to facilitate them. Yeah? And you should all have each other's interests at heart and all push each other to work extremely hard in order to get the things that you want out of this life. And you should all hold each other accountable. And so I've said to her, you go and you search for those people. If you can't find them in London, move.
Yeah.
You know, and I think these are the conversations that we should be having with our children. I know it's scary, bro. It's scary if your daughter at 16 heeds the words that you're saying and saying, "There, Dad, I've decided I'm gonna go to university in America."
Mm-hmm.
What you gonna say? You know, like, because that's gonna be scary.
Yeah, go do your thing.
Because you're not near her.
Yeah, bro.
But she deserves the chance to go and develop.
100%.
And so, for me, it's really important that their friendship groups add to their character, and that you teach them what to spot. And you don't just teach them by telling them. You teach them by the way that you conduct yourself, by the way that you've appropriated your friends as well.
Yeah.
And I think if you can do that, they're in a way better position.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Are you looking at me from my one?
Yeah.
It's getting techie now. I would say another one for me would be this one's gonna be hard to explain. It won't be hard to explain. It's like how to do like hard things gracefully. Does that make sense?
Kind of. You're going to need some explanation just in case people...
So basically, I think in this life here, there's a number of hard things that we have to do. And we don't mind the person that vents, but nobody wants to hear all the time, oh, life is so hard. Like, life is so hard. Oh, by the way, life is so hard. You know, I did this thing at work. Life is so hard. Do you know what I'm saying? After a while, that person becomes a person that you don't want to be around because they become a bit of a Debbie Downer. And I think especially for men who, you know, as part of kind of the historical understanding of what men would do, they would bring home the finances, you know. They would work hard to show their children that, you know, they shouldn't be scared of working hard, you know, that this is a thing that they may have to do in life, you know, to teach them things like perseverance and stuff like that. And I think sometimes if you're not taught that this is what's kind of gonna follow, like you almost get lost in this cycle where you're just like, oh, but this doesn't seem to be going right. Especially if you're someone who looks at the news. They don't put anything but dread on the news. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, oh, look, there's dread on the news. Oh, look, like, oh, my taxes went up. Oh, look, inflation. Oh, look, I'm at work 7 hours.
And I think it's a uniquely UK thing. Maybe the rest of Europe, but I haven't travelled enough to know this. But definitely, the UK has a real big problem with people who are self-confident and know it. They tend to love slaughtering those people in the news, and they also moan a lot. So those two qualities in the media can be very hard to deal with. Like, I've come to really resent the way that a lot of media companies, I won't say any by name, but media, because they might give me money later. So, but certain companies, broadcasters, should I say, go about having conversations with people because they're just so combative. Yeah. You just open up. So, are you a rapist?
What?
What? And then everything's on the defensive.
Did you see that thing online? Where I don't know these two women. I'm assuming that they're from something that's quite well known, innit? But basically, one of them went on a podcast and she's been doing a little journey, trying to figure out like who she is and trying to calm down, innit? Apparently, she was known for whooping people's asses, innit? Oh man! And she went on some show and someone said, your last baby daddy or the last person you had a relationship with said you're a crackhead, so I want you to do this test, this drugs test. See? Before the podcast. And I'm just like, yo. And that's what you see when I'm talking about losing gracefully, yeah? You'll be able to just step back and say, yo, this person's a weirdo. And, you know, we're gonna let this situation lie in it, yeah. I'm not gonna rise to the occasion and But you see, when you don't, yeah, something like that could be so detrimental. Do you know what I'm saying? And change the way that everybody perceives you, just because you reacted in the wrong way.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so I think in any case, yeah, that's what I would say. I'd say, I would want my child to know that life, if you have a life that is all candy floss and roses, like, be thankful for that, innit? But if you don't, understand that there's a journey ahead. Do you know what I'm saying? And what you're learning is greater than what you're lacking. So do it gracefully and do it to the end of the time. Like, for example, lots of people talk about the Queen, like Queen Elizabeth, isn't it? Like, her reign was long and she was graceful about it. Many people had a lot to say, but look at what's happening now. Now all the beans being spilled right now. Do you know what I'm saying? But she managed to contain it while she was alive, and, you know, do the things for the people. And I'm not even a royalist. Do you know what I'm saying? But she held herself to a good account, and that's how you would kind of want your children to be, you know, not spilling all your business. Well, the problem was, you see, my dad, when we were 14 years old. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, listen, with podcast, it's finished.
Yeah,
every bean. Listen, coming like Heinz. Yeah, so, yeah, that's facts. I would say some level of DIY.
Facts.
Yeah, some level of DIY. Now, you don't have to be a Mr. Fix-It, but to learn how to, like, jumpstart your car.
Yeah.
That's a good skill to learn. Maybe how to fix a tire. Again, that might be a good thing to learn. But you can pay for AA to do it. But if you learn how to do it, you're going to save a bit of money and maybe save a bit of time.
Yeah.
Because you're waiting for AA to get there and all the rest of it. Little things like putting things together in the house. It can be good. Like, things like that can be really good bonding time between a father and his son. Or a father and his daughter. Just learning how to make things together, having conversations. You hold that. The teamwork, it's like that's family, bro. So I think that's a fantastic thing for young people to learn. And then obviously you get the benefit of, at the time, it being a bonding activity. Yeah. But over time becoming a skill that they learn and they take away with them, and my daddy taught me how to do that.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
You have good recipes as well.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like, I got this from my dad, and it's like, oh, your dad was chefing up this. Yeah,
those things are nice, and then they carry on the memory of that family member.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people do that on things like MasterChef, and they're like, "Oh, my granddad, you always used to make this meal in there," and you can see how much joy it brings them. It almost transports them back to their childhood.
Yeah, exactly. So those things, like, I think that is a really important component. Not necessarily just because men are supposed to, but it's a really nice way to bond with your kids and give them something longer than yourself, like your whole life. So, yeah.
I would say, what are we saying now?
I'll give you one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, you said you got one.
Yeah,
go on.
I was about to say travel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think that's really important. I think number one, it opens people's eyes. I think number two, there's nothing safer to do than travel with your family. Yeah, before you start traveling independently. It teaches you discipline in terms of being able to allocate a resource and stick to that. Cause everybody knows what it's like. For those of you who've done it, going on holiday with no peas. You know what I'm saying? Like,
or running out.
Yeah, or running out. Yeah. You don't want to do that. So,
yeah,
you know, it's like you start the holiday off on a high, and then towards the end, it's like pot noodles.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So, you don't really want to do that. So, I think that's an important part, like teaching your children as well what it's like to be tourists. So, when people ask them for support and help, they're not naive to the fact that actually it's not an expectation that someone's going to speak the native tongue and be able to function for themselves. Yeah. And that actually they're going to need that support. So,
yeah. I think there's like a quote that says there's nothing more fatal to bigotry and prejudice than travel. That's not the full quote, but it's something like that. And it's true. To be a foreigner in another land teaches you a lot. Not being able to speak, like not knowing if two people who are sitting next to you are talking about you. Yeah. The DJ. And you're thinking like, bro, are they talking about me? Yeah. Right. You understand what it's like now to be in that position, and hopefully it can grow your compassion. And obviously going out there and seeing the world. I know a lot of guys who've been abroad, who talk about how forward certain women are in other cultures.
Yeah.
Are you looking at me? Come. And you're like, what? Because they never
Say
seen
what?
it in London.
Yeah.
Like, they never seen that in London.
Yeah, different gravy.
Yeah, and so there's all of that, different cultures, different experiences, different places smell different. Like just opening your whole life up and seeing that, it gives you a more complete version of who you are, and a more accurate version of the world around you. And also that you realize you've been living in this contained bubble for most of your life. Yeah. And that the way that you see things isn't always how other people see it. Yeah. So I think there's one more for me. And this is a brand new one. This is like a super entry. Dress. Learning how to dress.
Oh my days, I'm literally just about to drop that.
Because I'm really late to it. Like super late to it. Like, man just bought a new wardrobe 2 days ago. That's how late I am to it. But this idea of taking pride in how you conduct yourself and how you present yourself to the world, I think that's a really important thing, because it's overlooked a lot. A lot of a person's attractiveness can be tied or tethered to how they present themselves. And you can take so many points. I don't really like the point system, like, oh, she's a 7, he's a this. I don't really like that. But you can add so many points just by going to the barbers regularly. Just by making sure that what you've got on is clean. Yeah. You talked about hygiene and that. Yeah. Making sure that you've got fragrances that complement your
dress sense.
Yeah, and your aura, you know? And all of these things can work to your favor if you understand it. And I think one of the things that, for me, most certainly overlook, I'll be wearing the most mismatched things sometimes. Yeah. But now, like I say, I'm getting older. I want to move into a new part of my life where I conduct myself in a certain way. And because of that, your dress sense and how you appear, because that's your first thing. That's the package. Imagine you go to somebody's house and they give you a present and it's all rip up and the packaging is poor. Yeah, or you order something from the store. That's probably a better example. And it comes and it's all messed up. Yeah. The package is torn. There's little bits missing. The foil gold seal that's supposed to come in the legit one, it's all rubbed out. Bro, you're gonna be thinking, what the hell is this?
I can't lie. Yeah. I've been guilty of going to work. Yeah, clocking I'm wearing like the wrong kind of trousers, and then just going into a shop, getting changed, put the old one in the bag, put the bag underneath the seat, and then we go again. Yeah, just cause the fit is just wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And sometimes it happens, like you have mismatched clothes or whatever. You put them on, you think in your head you're on autopilot because early in the morning you think everything's all popping. You get to work and you're like, nah. Do you know what I'm saying? But again, that requires you to take a kind of certain pride in the way that you look. Yeah. And it probably links back to one of the other things we spoke about, as well as hygiene, but also financial management, because you don't want to be doing all that all the time. Yeah. Why wouldn't you just go to a shop and buy stuff that actually goes together? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So. Interchangeability.
There we go.
It's key. Yeah. Keep most of your jeans dark, because black jeans can be accompanied with so many different things. If you go out and you get these yellow ones, listen, yellow and certain colors don't really go together. So understanding that's going to give you more outfits, more wear time. Yeah. You got one more?
Nah.
Okay, I'll give you one more, ladies and gentlemen, because Sammy's always prepared. Yeah.
On fire. Yeah.
Sex. Teach your children about sex. I know it's going to send shivers down a lot of your spines. Yeah. But remember reading a study. I'll try and find it if I can. About women having sexual education, proper ones, not the flimsy, stupid ones they have at schools.
Yeah.
Proper in terms of contraception, their options, this, that, and other. Women who were given that advice not only abstained from sex longer, but also were more in control in terms of the narratives, saying yes to this, saying I don't want this, being able to advocate for themselves. And also, it's good to have young men who understand it as well.
Yeah.
Young men who understand what it takes to please a woman and not just have sex with a woman. This bit is difficult because you don't really want to have those type of conversations with your child, and it would be wholly inappropriate.
Yeah.
But setting them up for especially sexual health, and things like being a considerate partner is definitely something that you should have a conversation around if you're a young person. Because, if you're a parent, because this idea that if you leave children, they're not going to do it, doesn't work. I'm telling you now, my parents never told me nothing.
I'm going to tell my children that if they have sexual intercourse, they're going to have children.
That's crazy.
First time, 100%.
Wow. Them mental scarrings.
No, I'm joking.
But
I can't tell them that.
Yeah, because the issue is, if they do it and it doesn't happen, you open the floodgates.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So
they think you're lying full time.
Yeah,
and
but
then
that's
it
what I'm
actually
saying.
happens.
Yeah.
And
then it's like, oh well, if dad lied about that, then no contraception.
Yeah.
And then they do get a kid, and that's not a situation that they want to be in. That's not conversation that situation that you as a dad wants to be in, especially if your children are like young. And I consider 16 to be extremely young. Yeah. So I think conversations around it are good. Don't just slap like adult mags or whatever like they did back in the day on your son's thing. Like
I never was slapping no adult mags or words.
No, never.
Oh yeah, nothing about the Bible.
Ephesians.
Yeah. Come on.
So yeah, I would say that is a good conversation to have and make your children aware of the options that are available and set them up to advocate for themselves when it comes to these type of practices, you know. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've got any tips, let us know in the comments. Anything you think that young people should be learning from their parents, anything that we've forgotten, chuck it in the comments. We'll read it. Until the next time. And don't forget to like and subscribe. But until the next time, my name is Sammy.
My name is Don.
And we've been the family.
Bow.